Shawn Michaels wants CM Punk in WWE. Plus, there are backstage frustrations over NXT releases, and Edge could be debuting at AEW WrestleDream. It's all in the wrestling news right now. So yesterday, Shawn Michaels led a media call ahead of NXT No Mercy, and CM Punk came up in conversation. He's not doing a whole lot in the wrestling world right now, and it was asked whether or not NXT could become the home of clobbering time at some point. And what did Shawn say about it, Andrew?
Well, Mr. Sexy Boy himself said, "We'd welcome him here in NXT. My guess is he would probably want to go to the main roster. I always enjoyed working with Phil. Didn't get to do it too much. I understood him. Whether you want to say there were similarities in us, I can't lie. We were at TV and he once pulled out his wallet, on the spot. An autograph that I had signed for him in a hotel that he still had. I've always liked him. I've always liked him.
He had a photo of me in his wallet. I always liked him.
I understand he's a different kind of cat and can sometimes be challenging to get along with people, but that is probably why I like him, because I suffer from the same thing."
Shawn goes on to say, obviously, that's for people to decide higher up the food chain than I am. He is a guy that does numbers and makes money. That would be a risk-reward ratio from a company standpoint they would have to consider. When it comes to, would we take him in NXT and have him on our television? Are you kidding me? Of course I would. I just don't think anybody would let me. Who wouldn't take that kind of star power? I don't know. If I get in trouble for that, I'll let you know. Shawn there, being very honest. And I think there's a lot of companies that would go, yeah, it's CM Punk. Despite all the trespasses and all the stories and incidents and accidents and hints and allegations, they would certainly have a guy like CM Punk on the book.
I think so. I think, a lot of the times that sort of CM Punk has come up in the conversation in relation to WWE recently is kind of like they've been like, do you know what? Yeah, maybe there's things that have happened in the past backstage that haven't been the greatest for either our company or another company, but you can't deny that the money is there for something like that, for a return like that.
Exactly. Now, also from the media call, Shawn Michaels said, in terms of Gable Stevenson's next steps, it's up to him to figure out what's next for Gable Stevenson and what will make sense for him given his busy schedule. He says everything's been fantastic so far with Stevenson, but he's a very busy young man. He was also very excited about Jade Cargill with Shawn Michaels, saying that he got to briefly meet her at the Performance Center and understands all the hype. He would love to have her in NXT. Didn't say that was where she was going, said that she'll be successful regardless of where she ends up, and says that she is tailor-made for WWE. The subject of the recent releases was also something that came up in conversation. Shawn Michaels was asked about, how the prior knowledge of who was let go and that sort of thing. And what did Shawn say to that?
Michaels said the release of Ali took him by surprise and that he found out right before Ali did. He said he will have a successful future and is very bright and talented. Michaels also said he was surprised by the Dana Brooke release too. He added that they have had to deal with situations like releases before and have learned how to make adjustments.
In the wake of that, Fightful Select have done some digging around, and some of their sources have given their reactions to NXT releases. They say the following: needless to say, there were several people that we spoke to unhappy with Mustafa Ali's release from WWE. Sources that Fightful spoke to were frustrated with a lack of communication between WWE and NXT. Specifically, we were told that some of the frustration emanated from the fact that there had been a renewed effort to stack NXT with familiar names, and in addition to losing one of those names, a planned match with two main roster talent in Mustafa Ali and Dominic Mysterio is now off the table. Those we heard from said there was no indication as of Tuesday that Mustafa Ali was going to be cut, and even no indication cuts would happen to anyone with a main roster contract. So, and you get the frustration, because if you've put together a card and suddenly one of the guys that's on your card is released, that's a lot of scrabble in there.
Not only that, but also, I guess, you got the match, but then you've also perhaps got plans ahead of that as well into the future for like one person and who this person is going to work with and storylines and stuff too. That is obviously not only like a big loss for them, but also has to be so frustrating in terms of like, well, why wasn't this communicated to us before something as big as this happens, you know?
Exactly. Exactly, and the main one I think coming from the media call, just to jump back to it, is Shawn Michaels saying like it caught him off guard, the fact that he is so in close contact with the big people at the top of WWE. The fact that he knew just moments before Mustafa Ali did, that's got to be a frustration.
Yeah, for sure.
To get a call and go, yeah, by the way, one of your matches is off for the pay-per-view. I love Shawn talking about CM Punk, and the more I think about it, the more I think, yeah, there is a connection between the two.
There's a connection, and I also sort of recall when Punk joined AEW to begin with and was quite frequently talking about how he'd love to work with the younger stars as well, in hopes to like get them over and everything. And then I think to the roster on NXT, and you've got your Carmelo Hayes, your Bron Breakkers, Ilya Dragunov, Tyler Bates, everybody like that. And I wouldn't be opposed to seeing matches with those people there mentioned and many more, and CM Punk too. Whether it would be on NXT though, I would highly doubt it, at least.
It feels very unlikely.
It does.
If they were going to bring him in, it would be for some key marquee matches, main roster styling. But after I read that news, I went back and I watched as a few episodes of Raw. There's one in particular where it's Shawn Michaels and CM Punk. After Shawn Michaels super kicked CM Punk on Raw.
Yeah.
And there was some untapped greatness with those two working together.
Untapped greatness, and then also the Survivor Series match. There was a Survivor Series match. I can't remember what year it was, but there was DX and CM Punk on one team. Yes, and they were like really putting over CM Punk in that whole thing. They get him to do the DX. Like the DX catchphrases and everything.
I think a part of that was because they were all the crowd were chanting CM Punk so loud,
and that's
it. Acknowledge it.
Like I think, yeah, exactly. And for them, I guess, to do that to someone who perhaps to them is relatively unknown at that point, at least within WWE, I guess, is a really cool thing for them to do. It shows that they saw a lot of promise, I think, in him at that point.
It would be a seismic move for CM Punk to return to WWE. We could see a seismic move take place this weekend. So AEW WrestleDream is on Sunday. You've got 9 pitches, predictions, both on the channel right now. You'll have live reactions with myself and Fraser Porter and what happened at WrestleDream afterwards as well. And there could be quite the happening, potentially, at WrestleDream, based on what we heard on Wrestling Observer Radio.
Yeah, Wrestling Observer Radio said Edge's WWE contract is up on Saturday, so he's free to sign with AEW and appear on Sunday at WrestleDream.
That's tomorrow. His contract is up.
Insane. PW Insider also added a little bit too and said that Adam Edge Copeland has been removed from the miscellaneous list of WWE's internal roster. Edge is still listed on WWE.com's roster, but internally is no longer listed with the company. The belief is that of the 1st of October, he is free to clear to sign elsewhere, and there has also been AEW interest in him dating back to 2019, which led to WWE eventually clearing him to return to the ring at the 2020 Royal Rumble in one of the best moments of the year, of course.
Absolutely.
We should see shortly what the future holds for one Adam Edge Copeland.
Now, the removal from the miscellaneous list on the internal roster is I think more important than people might realize.
Yeah.
Because the internal roster, we've talked about it a few times on these videos, so it tells you who is currently active and who are the baby faces in the heels in the order, in condescending order, as Matthew would say, on each roster. But then the miscellaneous internal list is wrestlers who aren't active but can be called upon for certain things. Edge being taken off that list, which he was on even after his final match in speech marks in Toronto, that's quite telling.
Yes.
That is quite telling. He was on the list, he was taken off the list the other month and then quickly put back on. He's come off again. That to me spells that something's in the waters. I know that Adam Copeland has said that all he wants to do now is have fun. He's in control of his story, which he wasn't when he retired.
Yep.
Keep an eye on Sunday.
It's not out of the realm of possibility, at least, is it?
It's really not. We'll keep tabs on that one across the day. And for the latest wrestling news throughout the weekend, you can check out Cultaholic.com. Keith.
I love you. Bye.